Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, December 16th, 2021. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, said she is pleased with the way in which the volcanic eruption and other emergencies this year were handled, as they tested the organization's ability to deal with so many challenges at once.
Sector with the COVID-19 pandemic and their preparation and response. So we have been busy since then, and then we went into the effusive phase of the eruption beginning in December, which was we were quite busy, and with the pandemic that restricted our efforts in a bit in terms of moving around, being able to go out to the communities as we would like. Even now still you're mindful of how you go out and go about with the cases we have, because we have community spread. So that would have restricted us a bit. But leading up to the eruption, we were quite satisfied with what was happening. I think this is the biggest event that we have had to manage on in recent times. Displacing of close to 20,000 persons. What would have happened in 1979, the conditions in 1979 to 2021 would have been different. The expectations, of course, are different. Now that you have a disaster organization to coordinate things, there are things that were a bit slow in terms of the resource mobilization prior to the eruption.
Forbes noted that one of the major challenges was to deal with the evacuees in a pandemic, and thanked NEMO's 19 staff members whom she said went beyond the call of duty to ensure the safety of all.
The things that we were procuring before the eruption that didn't get here on time, for example, some things didn't get here on time because of the disruption in the supply chain, also because of the pandemic. Because the pandemic, it has been we're looking at the systemic risk, how one particular risk or pandemic has affected the entire world and the region in terms of supply chain, what you can get, what you can't get, resource personnel, etc. We were a bit strapped in terms of the things that we would have ordered before. Some didn't get on time, that didn't get in on time, so that part was a little bit disappointment. But we had tremendous support from the entire nation and the entire civil service and all the organizations that have had a role or have a role to play within the National Emergency Management System.
Forbes said while Vincentians are resilient people, they need to plan better for future disasters.
Training, etc. We have been speaking about this. This is not the only risk. This is one of the natural hazards that we don't see happening often. But when it does happen, it can have severe impact and displacement, not just for a day or two. That may be in the case of a hurricane. I think going forward, we have to be mindful that not every hazard that is going to impact it will be the same like a hurricane a day or two. And one of the things that really caught people off guard, and maybe they were not quite prepared for, is the length of time they would be away from their homes. Until you have gone through it, you will not understand the time you have to stay away. And that one, that affected persons not being able to be in their homes for quite a while, so that would have affected persons. So sometimes we have to prepare for the long haul. It may not happen the way we expect. 1979 eruption was totally different in a way than 2021.
A team from the International Organization for Migration, the IOM, is currently on the ground here assisting the government with the rebuilding and recovery efforts following the eruption of La Soufrière volcano in April. The IOM is part of the United Nations system as the leading intergovernmental organization in the field of migration, and works closely with governmental, intergovernmental, and non-governmental partners, and is dedicated to promoting human and orderly migration for the benefit of all. It does so by providing services and advice to governments and migrants. The IOM SVG Program Coordinator, Juan William Wedgedam, told SVGTV News today that their primary focus is to ensure persons affected by the volcano resettled back into their homes. He said that the organization has been working behind the scenes for several months, providing support to the various emergency shelters and elderly homes, including the Louis Ponet Home and the Golden Year Center in Bookament.
And currently we are supporting the government with repairing and managing emergency shelters like the one we're here in the Golden Years elderly home, and yeah, we're planning to stay a little bit longer to repair some more. We are doing a project that is generally funded by the government of Japan, and that is we're currently already supporting this center, but we're also, for instance, going to repair the Louis Benet former mental clinic in Orange Hill. And there we're making the designs, so we are working, but you don't see it yet because we're doing the prep work for hiring the contractor. But that will have to be done before April next year.
Wichdam said schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, particularly those in the volcanic zones, will also benefit from international partners' financial support.
Project that we're also doing is we're going to repair or upgrade, facelift the toilet facilities of minimum of 12 schools divided over the country, and currently we're talking with the Ministry of Education which are the priority schools, which in terms of damage but also in terms of needs or number of students, so that we upgrade those facilities there. And we do that in collaboration with Braxa. So we do the funding and they do a lot of the repair works and the management of that.
The UN rep, however, noted that there is a need for better coordination to ensure all vulnerable people in SVG benefit in one way or the other from the resources that are available.
So we need to scratch the money, so that's definitely a challenge. I think we can do more on the coordination part, and also informing and involving the communities. And I think the St. Vincent communities are very resilient, working hard. A lot of agriculture is happening. A lot of people are earning their living by growing their own foods or doing little work and little businesses. I think that what we can do is to see and to work with the communities itself, organize, ask them, hey, what can you do, and where can we complement? I know there are a tremendous amount of good builders here that even want to work maybe for a reasonable rate.
The 12th inaugural cruise call for the year, the Celebrity Equinox, docked at Port Kingston today with more than 1,000 passengers. Minister of Tourism Carlos James is pleased with this development. As he said, it looks good for the tourism industry as there has been an increase in port calls for the season.
It's the one in the 12 inaugural calls we have to date. Over the season we'll expect a bit more calls. We've had 2 so far to Port Kingston. We have, since our last announcement of the opening of the cruise season, we have added another 61 calls to this destination. So we're now about 285 calls to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to date since the cruise season. We've had some cancellations, but we've had more additions than cancellations to Port Kingston and, of course, the Grenadines. What we are seeing is that more ships are coming and they're quite excited to be a part of the destination and to experience what we have to offer in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And this is really possible because we've really worked hard to put together the cruise protocols as it relates to passengers disembarking and how they visit the various sites across mainland St. Vincent and also in the Grenadines.
More than 600 passengers disembarked the cruise ship to go to the various locations that are in the tourism bubble.
I was quite happy to know that we've recently added an additional site to our bubble, which is Coconut Grove, a new entity out at Ratamil, which is accommodating close to 100 cruise passengers who disembarked here today. A number of other cruise passengers have gone as far as North Leeward into various sites to have a look at what we have to offer in our product here in St. Vincent on mainland and also in the Grenadines. So it's really, you know, things are looking up. It's really a positive outlook on the industry to date, and we're hoping that we can see continued success for all of the stakeholders who are involved in the industry.
Some of the passengers were excited to be in SVG and are hoping to return soon.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Okay. Oh, absolutely beautiful. We just had such a lovely time. We had a great tour, and we would like to come back again.
Yeah.
The first time, what did we see?
Fort Charlotte.
Yeah, Fort Charlotte.
We saw the botanical gardens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Drove around the island, saw different of the villages and some of the sites and the Mesopotamia Valley.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'd like to come back and see Mystique and some of the other islands of the Grenadines. Yeah, sometime. That's beautiful.
It was very good. I've never been here before, and the island is beautiful, and our driver was wonderful, and the tour guide was wonderful, and the gardens were beautiful, and I want to come back. We just stopped at a beach club and had a rum drink, and it was really good, and it was very pretty there.
Okay, and where are you from?
Minnesota, USA.
In other news now, the body of the late former Prime Minister Sir James Mitchell will lie in state at the House of Assembly tomorrow, Friday, December 17th, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Viewing for the family will take place from 10 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Viewing for the Governor General and the Prime Minister from 10:15 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. Viewing for officials and dignitaries from 10:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. and viewing for the general public from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be a ceremonial stop from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the New Democratic Party headquarters, which will be attended only by the executive members of the NDP, which was founded by Sir James. The funeral service will be held on Saturday, December 18th, 2021 at the Kingston Methodist Church, according to Anglican rites, from 9 a.m. until 12 noon, after which Sir James' body will be taken to his beloved Beckway, where the funeral service will resume at 2:30 p.m. at the St. Mary's Anglican Church. After the funeral service, which is expected to end at 4:45 p.m., Sir James will be buried at the family cemetery at Mount Pleasant, Beckway. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic and mass gathering protocols, persons are strongly encouraged to view the proceedings from the comfort of your home. The entire funeral service will be carried live on several platforms, including SVG-TV and SVG-TV Facebook page. The 2021 National Night Morning celebrations kicked off this morning under strict COVID-19 protocols. Only adults who were vaccinated 2 weeks prior to the event were allowed to enter the venue at the Victoria Park. Children 5 to 18 years old had to show a negative PCR test, while those under 4 years took the status of their vaccinated parents or guardians. The event this morning included a worship session, a number of fun activities, and cultural performances.
Let's go. Yes, nice. Looking good.
Once upon a Christmas, from the far east wise men came with gold and myrrh and frankincense to praise the newborn King. You used to bring me. Why can't I hear music play? Yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight.
The 9 Nights of Lights event commenced last evening with a spectacular display of lights at the Botanical Garden. Public Relations Officer for the organizing committee, Tony Barrow, said that they are pleased with the overall production for this year's event, despite the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank from the bottom of our hearts
our sponsors, the various stakeholders, and the Ministry of Health for working with us over the past weeks to ensure that we keep the 9 Nights of Lights tradition alive in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But most importantly, we want to thank our patrons who came out last night, adhered to the protocols, and supported the event. We are indeed grateful for their continued support.
Barrow outlined some of the upcoming activities for the 9 nights at the Botanical Garden, which he said is worth at least one visit.
In terms of the program for the remainder of the nights, tonight is our dance night. Tomorrow is our first movie night. On Saturday, it's our drama and open mic night. Sunday the 19th is our gospel night. Monday the 20th is our second movie night. That following Tuesday, we're having Christmas with Upstage. The Wednesday is a fan favorite. It's Pan Night. And on Thursday the 23rd, we close with a showcase of the various nights, different nights. Lastly, I just want to encourage persons just to come out and have a wonderful botanical Christmas in the Botanical Garden. We have lights and more lights. We have nightly entertainment, we have food, and we're in the garden, and that's the best place that we can be. So we have something for everyone, so just come out and just have a fantastic time in the Botanical Garden for 9 Nights of Lights 2021.
Barrow used the opportunity to urge patrons to get familiar with the new COVID-19 protocols.
And I just want to remind our patrons that we are hosting this year's event behind the lens of health and safety. So there are various protocols and requirements as it relates to children and adults. So we are asking persons to get familiar with these protocols and requirements and ensure that you adhere to them. If you have any questions or concerns or you are uncertain about anything, please call us at National Parks Authority and we will be willing to assist you in any way. Also, I just want to remind persons that the only entrance to the event is at the gate facing the CWSA's car park, and the bottom gate, no one will be able to come through that, enter at the bottom gate.
71-year-old Jimmy Samuel of Rillen Hill turned on his Christmas lights last evening under the theme Christ in Christmas. Samuel, who has won the Best Lit Private Home in the National Lighting Up competition for a number of years, did not win last year, and it has daunted his spirits. However, he said he still decorated and light the house as it is a tradition for his community and people.
Competition. I don't just put up lights. I doesn't think about competition anymore. Because really last year, I think I had it, and I didn't have it. To tell you the truth, I'm not going to hide, I wasn't pleased, so I just say, well, I'll leave it up. But everybody asking about the lights, so I just put it up. Everybody is asking, when you're going to put up light? After Thursday, I went down to the beach, everybody asking me about the light. I said, well, always see some. Not the amount, but by Monday I should put up quite more. I don't even know if they're going to judge, when they're judging or what. I didn't find out. I didn't ask anything.
Samuel said it has been challenging for him to get the lights up this year as he did not receive any help.
I tell 2 people up the street that are turning on the light, and when they're going up this evening. Even the 2 little kids across there, I asked them to come and turn on the switch, but I didn't see they come. Last year they was here, they turned on the lights last year, but I know what this year. People have their own view this year. Everybody afraid of COVID.